Hello again. Since I've been in Jerusalem, I've been spending a good deal of time on the Temple Mount, known in Hebrew as Har Bayit, the Mount of the House, and in Arabic as the Harim Sharif, the noble enclosure or noble sanctuary. The thumbnail to this video shows the Dome of the Rock, which is at the heart of the Temple Mount and was built in the 7th century on the location of Israel's temple. I ought to mention that I'm neither a Christian nor a Jew, not for that matter, am I a Muslim. So I'm not advancing the merits or claiming adherence to any of the religions which feel so strongly about this place. I'm just explaining why there has been such a fuss about Jerusalem, a fuss which is still going on right now. The rock over which the Dome of the Rock was built is an ancient cult site whose history goes back at least 3,000 or 4,000 years, and probably a lot longer than that. This is Mount Moriah, where it is said that Abraham was about to sacrifice his son at the Lord's command, and the legend is that he laid Yitzhak on the rock as though on an altar before the Lord stopped him and provided a ram instead for the sacrifice. Abraham was the father of the Jews, obviously, but for Muslims he was also the father of the Arab peoples. He fathered a son with Hagar, his handmaid, and this boy was called Ishmael. Just as Jews call themselves the children of Israel, so too do Arabs think of themselves as the children of Ishmael. Abraham is called by name Khalil al-Rahman, the friend of the Lord. Anyway, 3,000 years ago, King David's son Solomon built a temple on Mount Moriah, and the holiest part of it was the rock which is now found in the Dome of the Rock. The surrounding area of the Temple Mount is of course a place that Jesus taught in. Some of us learned in Sunday school about things like Jesus driving the moneylenders from the temple precincts. This association with Jesus makes the place sacred for Christians. Where do the Muslims fit into this scheme? Why do they regard this as being such an important place for Islam? This relates to the night journey, which is mentioned briefly in the Quran, and an expanded version is to be found in the Hadith. The Prophet travelled from Mecca to Jerusalem in a single night. Then from Jerusalem he rode on a magic horse called El Buraq, which means lightning in Arabic, and flew from the rock on Temple Mount to heaven, where he spoke face to face with Allah. Once he returned, he landed on another part of the Temple Mount, where the Al-Aqsa Mosque now stands. Only Muslims are now allowed in the Dome of the Rock, but although I am myself kuffar, or non-Muslim, I was inside it many years ago. 1977 to be precise. There I was shown a mark on the rock which was said to be the hoofprint of El Buraq as it kicked off towards heaven. There are 3 hairs from the Prophet's beard there as well. I cannot vouch for the veracity of any of this, of course, but the end result of these stories is that for Muslims, the Al-Aqsa Mosque is the 3rd holiest place in Islam after Mecca and Medina, and for Jews, the Har Bayit is the most holy spot in the whole world, which is why they pray at the wall, which is the last remaining fragment of the enclosure of the Temple Mount. I don't see either side backing down on any of these claims in the near future, and so there's always likely to be discord and friction in that part of Jerusalem.